So
I'll pick up on all of those points.
Because it's in that particular. Do you want that particular letter?
Yes, I can. I'll take it by all means. Let's make sure we get it.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah,
and embodies
okay.
all the points.
So just to confirm, that's a proposal from you, Colin,
Um,
that we object to the application based on those reasons.
My proposal I cannot support this, but I would propose that it is rejected. But obviously, it's up to the members to make their own decision.
Absolutely.
That would be my proposal, based on those.
Is that seconded? All those in favour then that is that we support the rejection of the application, please show. That's unanimous.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Charlie.
Charlie Brown. Hopefully you decrossed that.
If you took a tea out of
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Director. We'll leave you to your
Thank you very much.
business.
Okay.
So we'll let us speak.
No worries.
Thank you.
That's done, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
So that moves us on to the second application, which is 7/2021, which is variation of condition 2 of a previous application, 7/2015. David, do you want to give us a background on
That's
this?
fine. Has everyone seen the application and the
Yes.
plans?
Yeah.
Basically an overview. I think it's quite straightforward in my mind, but check if you don't think so. Planning permission was granted in September 2020 for the change of use and conversion of barns to provide dwellings with gardens and parking, etc., and a new access. The new access has been built and they started work, and in December 2022 we had a planning application to say that basically for us to confirm that they started within the 3 years that they were supposed to, which they had. So now it looks like they're coming to take the project up again, and what we are being asked is the previous plans are still the same, but barn B, which I don't know if anyone's got a plan, but they're going to change what they propose to change a flat roof on the south elevation to a pitched roof, which would be more consistent with a traditional barn aesthetic, prompting this application basically. And in addition to that, they decided that they would quite like an oak frame porch to enhance the overall appearance of the front elevation whilst reducing some light spill from exterior lighting. And they also want to make one of the roofs slightly longer to reduce some more light spill to the neighbouring barn conversion and put some bifold doors in. And basically, what do people think? Because I don't see, it's very minor in the scheme of what is already being agreed.
Just to add to David's point, the other additions I saw was where you said they put the bifold doors in, they've made some of the other windows smaller, removed windows, and they're putting in what looks like a log burner, although it doesn't actually say that in the application. So, yeah, I agree, it's minor. So.
Any other comments or
Well,
questions?
just seeing as they've already got permission, it's like David said, it's fairly
It's not
minor.
really
So,
going to affect anyone.
No, it is not.
Anything they've already got permission for.
yeah.
Okay, in which case I'm looking for a proposal.
I'll propose, but there's no observations.
Okay,
I'll second the proposal.
all right. So those in favour that we make no observations, please show. That's deemed carried. Okay. Thank you. Move us on to item 5 on the agenda, which is the clerk's report, correspondence matters and surgery report.
There's not a lot to say. We had a surgery yesterday morning. We didn't really have any visitors actually, apart from Tim, the village agent, and we had Peter Osborne popped in briefly. He had a slight concern that I don't even remember, there were some runners from Bass who ran through the village, and they've left some little spiky sort of markers, I think it is, in 1 or 2 places. So I said I'd contact them and ask them if they can make sure they remove those, not only now but also in future if they come, because they could be quite dangerous. They sort of stick up things. That's all Peter raised actually. And as I say, we didn't have any other visitors at all, so we had just Bob and Kim. Okay, so that's basically that. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention on the clerks thing, just for you to think about. But one of the things I'm slightly concerned about is that the role I have is very scattergun, the hour-wise. It's all over the place. You know, sometimes it's Saturday morning, sometimes it's Sunday afternoon, sometimes it's Monday afternoon. And I've tried this before, and David and Colin and Bob, we've tried before to try and structure a little bit more into a defined time. And I would like to try that again. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's beneficial to everybody, because it's beneficial to the council, because they actually know when I'm definitely going to be sat there with my telephone, but also it's beneficial to the public, because it can be publicised on the website. Any contact that can be made at these times. It's a bit like if we had a parish office, which some councils do now, it's open at certain times. And I'm never quite sure how that works or whether it works, but whatever. So I would like to give some consideration to that, but I'm not going to suggest anything now, but just think about it, and I'll try and put some proposals as time goes on.
Can I just ask a question though? With regards to the calls you get now, is there kind of like a pattern you're seeing? So at the moment, when we come up with something, you may say Monday mornings, but that may work for nobody.
I've had calls as late as 11 o'clock at night.
And you've answered them?
Yeah, well, I have, exactly. Because I just don't like leaving calls unanswered. So, but it would be nice if I could even put a message on the phone saying that, Clark is open these hours, it just makes, I think it makes everybody's life a bit easier, if you know.
It's a more professional service.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we tried it right at the beginning of 2019, when we had a new council then. We tried it, and it started off okay, but sort of deteriorated a bit over time. And then, of course, the shop came along, and then it was all open doors. So it was like telephone calls every hour. But if we could, that'd be great. But as I say, I'm very open about what those hours should be. I mean, my initial feeling is perhaps, 3 mornings a week, 4 hours, 8 to 12, and perhaps, a couple of hours on a Friday afternoon or something to pick up emails and stuff like that. But that's just an idea. And to be honest with you, if anything comes outside that time, and it's urgent, and I'll deal with it. But in terms of routine matters, it would be nice to focus it a bit if we could.
Well, you say what suits you best.
Well, as I say, and if we did end up moving to the village, of course, it's even more important, because I can just see a situation.
We're knocking on your door.
Walking down the village, and I'm going to be sort of.
So, what did I say? I
Whereas if we have specific hours, and that, I can sort of deflect them a bit.
You can have a sign on the door saying, please go to Dolphin Cottage.
Well, I can work something hanging around my neck.
His garage will be the new parish office.
The only other thing I wanted to just raise was we store a lot of stuff up in the upstairs cupboard, and we've got mountains of stuff up there, and it is my plan to try and shred literally 2/3 of it, because it's stuff that we don't need to keep. It's old finance papers, planning documents, which,
you can, if you box it all, there's a company that will take
Britannia
it away
Lane.
and shred it.
Britannia Lane, actually.
Which I use.
And I think that's a good way of doing it. And what I thought, I was going to ask the parish hall whether we could put a filing drawer in the cupboard next door here, in the little room next door, just for the important documents, things like some of the legal stuff that we need to hang on to. I've got a load of stuff for Sanders Garden World with neighbour, the wind farm. I think we'll hang on to some of that stuff because it might be useful in the future. But I think those sort of things we'll keep. But in terms of old planning applications and old finance papers, we just don't need to keep them. They're all on
All
the
your planning's online anyway.
Exactly. So I've requested to Sandra Few, the secretary of the parish hall, if she could put it on the agenda for the next parish hall meeting to consider it. And then David perhaps can help me to get the filing cabinet down from there. But that's all I've got to say on it, actually. Nothing else.
Thank you. I don't think we've had any working groups at all over the last
Nothing.
month. Anything on footpaths? Colin?
The handrail on the lower Knoll path is now destroyed, knocked over. It's rotted away and needs replacing. Someone's removed half of the kissing gate, the lower kissing gate, i.e. the metal swinging thing, and thrown it on the grass. I don't know. Certainly it was when I walked up there.
So is that by the church wall or the one that's the next one up as you go?
The next one up, it was on the floor when I went up there. The horse gate down Crooked Lane is open
Still.
and being left open, and I've got a feeling they may not be able to close it because I had a look at it today. The like staple for some reason doesn't match up with the upright, so I think Axbury should have a look at that, because why they can't relock it afterwards, I don't know. And the last thing is the grit bin at the top of Hill Lane is covered in brambles, and probably we should
Buried.
Yeah, we should, especially the winter now upon us. Summer's going to want to get some grit out of there. So those are little jobs.
Just to say, I had a phone call from somebody which I said I would report at this meeting. A lady who lives in Burton Row rang me very late one night and said that she'd had a problem on her footpath, which is at the top of her land, and she just asked for my advice, and I said there wasn't really much I could do. She said that there were some people, walkers, were having an altercation with her husband or some her family members, and it got violent, and I suggested that she called the police. And that was all, but she said they were having a lot of problems on the footpath with people letting their stock out and stuff. So she's questioned replacing the stiles with gates, and I told her she'd need to email or come to a meeting or speak to Owen. So I just said I'd reported at the meeting, so that's all I'm doing.
It's just one where the path goes up very steep. You go
No,
by.
it goes where you go through. Yeah, David has identified it.
No, I know
No,
where you mean.
you go around the back, like around the back of Ralphswood. So not
Collins
Ralphswood's
going
that
up
way, the
University
other side.
Road.
No. But yes, if you went up there and then carried on the flat, you go through where the horses are. There's Rebecca Steer's horses. I think
Yes,
there are.
yeah.
The next 2 fields on, they're electric fenced usually. The path is electric fenced.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's those 2 grounds there.
Oh, right.
And the lady lives in Burton Row.
Oh, right.
And she phoned me, said quite late one night, and said that there was a lot of trouble.
That's the first one, across. Keep going this way. It's here.
Oh, right.
There was also a piece put in the Brent Knoll News,
Yes, I recognise that
which I think is.
piece. I think so. Yes, I just said to her that I would report it at the meeting.
Is
So
that us or his friend?
It's
it's not. It's
yeah.
on ours. Yeah. She said there were problems with it. I believe the stiles. Somebody was taking bits off the stiles, or whether she blocked up some bits because there were animals getting out or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know. But somebody had taken down what she put there and let her sheep out. And I said, look, just you can apply for to have gates, and you can get the gates, and then you can fit them or whatever. And I told her to email Owen. So that was, yeah.
Okay.
Can I just raise the church issue, the rear of the church, because that's been coming up recently.
Flood.
The water has been going through the back of the church and obviously into the footpath that the church installed apparently. Has anybody got, because I'm getting emails about it.
Sorry, I was going to say the other day, Mike Smith had got David and I to go up there the other day to talk to him about it, because obviously some of the residents, there's some heated discussions going on. So Mike wanted David in particular to give his benefit of his experience. David asked me to go for just an extra pair of eyes to look at it. So we ended up having an extensive meeting with Mike and we looked through it. But I said David has got the experience of drainage and how water falls. So I said that he was the one that ought to So go for it.
I have a question for you. So, obviously being new to all the waterworks, as it were, I read the email that said the water is in effect coming down off the knoll through the churchyard. And I remember at one of the meetings we were discussing about whose responsibility it is, because obviously it's water from the knoll, not from the residents. Who should be looking after this? Is it for us to
David has got the answer.
Right, okay, so that was my question for David.
Basically, because me and Amanda are getting a lot of grief about it, which she hasn't said, but basically it's all private property. Me and Bob have sort of stepped in a bit because the footpath that we take care of got washed away as well, so we were looking at doing something. But the legal position is that you are responsible to accept water from higher ground. Whatever you think, whatever historically has gone on, you are responsible. So it's obviously coming down the knoll. So we're looking at measures with an organisation called FWAG, which is a Farming Wildlife Action Group, and they have got a lot of government money to slow the flow of water in places and put in measures. Me and Bob have met with a chap, and he is now in discussions with